It's time. Woohoo! Hey, let's for a moment here. This is going to be spiritual and good and wonderful. So get comfortable, relax, enjoy yourselves. Let your spirits rise. Let's think of Randy Judy and the greatness involved and all the good times together. Psychedelic, too. But please, one of the treasures of this festival, Mr. Verlon Thompson.
Oh man, thank y'all. It's I made the mistake of coming over early. Could I get just a little more of my vocal up here? Just made the mistake of coming over a little early and catching some of Ralph's set. That's good. That's a bad mistake. Because I'm standing back there going, how can I possibly match the energy level of that guy? You know what? Let's forget this one. I think it's causing a little. Damn it. Yeah. So I said to myself, Verlon, forget it. You can't match that energy level. You couldn't even match that energy level when you were 13 years old. That's all right, though. We all got our different ways of going about this, and it's all good, man. In fact, let's clap one more time for Ralph Roddenberry, man. That was fun. So y'all are like my guinea pigs that I try new stuff out on every year. And in keeping with tradition, I got one brand new here. November was a sad goodbye, and January sang the blues, and December was too cold to cry, and February felt confused, and winter's waking up without a friend, and summer's trying not to call, and spring is standing on the ledge again, worried about the shadows come the fall. And September danced around the truth and couldn't bear to face July. April may have seen the last of June, and August still wonders why. And winter's waking up without a friend, and summer's trying not to call. And spring is standing on the ledge again, still worried about the shadows come the fall. The grandfather clock stands silent in the hall. He's got plenty of time on his hands, but he's no help at all. Oh, he ain't no help at all. December was too cold to cry, and February felt confused, and November was a sad goodbye, and January sang the blues. January sang the blues. January sang the blues. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thanks for letting me try that out on y'all. I can't remember if this one is new or not. I can't remember if I'd written it last time we got together, because we missed last fall, you know, and so I can't remember. Maybe y'all have heard it, but it's still fairly new to me, and I thought I'd do it for you. This came about because, well, my wife, you know, I love to go walking. We have a lake close to our house, and we go walking around this lake a lot. And I'm telling you, boys, it's good to walk with your wife, because what happens to them is they get into this rhythm, and they forget what they're doing, and they start talking, and they start revealing stuff about themselves that you never knew before. And things just come out, and they're walking, they don't even realize it. So I love that. You know, I learned things about my wife that I never knew on these walks. And one day we're walking along, we're picking them up and putting them down, you know, keeping a pretty good pace. And she's just talking, rattling. She's in the middle of the sentence, and she's just going as fast as she can go. And then she said, you know, I used to work with this guy that wrote the headline of the year in 1983. And he was so proud, he kept that headline of the year taped above his office desk because it inspired him. And then and I said, stop. Wait a minute. You worked with a guy that wrote the headline of the year. Yeah, in 1983. And I said, well, I didn't know there was, first of all, such a thing as a headline of the year. And she said, oh, yeah. Everybody knows that, V. Come on. She said, yeah, they give away the headline of the year, and this guy won it. And I said, well, goodness, why don't you tell me what it is? What was the headline of the year in 1983? She told me. And I said, wow, no wonder that won the headline of the year in 1983. That's a good headline. And she said, yeah, it is. It ought to be a song. Write it. Now, you know how I am. The way she said that, it kind of pissed me off. She could have said, sweetheart, my dear love. This sounds as if it could maybe be a song, and you would be just the person to tackle this. I think you'd do a beautiful job of this, my sweet darling. But no, she said, it ought to be a song, write it. So my first reaction was, no, I'm not right. You don't tell me what to write. If I want to, I'll write it if I want to, but you don't dictate to me what I'm. And then I thought, wait, Verlon, if you do that, she wins. Don't let her win. You write this song better than she could even imagine, and you show her just how damn good you are. I didn't actually think that last part. I just made that up. But anyway, I wrote it. I wrote the song, and I wish I could play it for you, but I don't. Now the poor old sheriff, he was a mumbling mess when he stood before the local press and the microphones and the cameras too, here to see what he and the deputy knew. He said, I'm gonna keep it short. No, he said, thanks for coming. I'm gonna keep it short, 'cause I really don't have much to report. What the investigation reveals thus far, we got a headless body in a topless bar. Headless body in a topless bar. Man, that's funny. I don't care who you are. Yeah, the truest stories, they're the most bizarre. You got your headless body in a topless bar. Well, it didn't take long for the story to spread, but nobody talked about the fact that somebody was dead. All the late night TV and talk show host, they said, man, that's the headline we all love the most. The headless body in a topless bar. Yeah, man, that's funny. I don't care who you are. Yeah, the truest stories, they're the most bizarre. Like the headless body in a topless bar. They gonna make a movie, I was told. So I auditioned and I got the role. But nobody knows that I'm a star. I played the headless body in the topless bar. Headless body in the topless bar. Man, that's funny. I don't care who you are. And now I keep my Oscar sitting on my armoire for the headless body. Yeah, the headless body in a topless bar. Man, that's funny. I don't care who you are. And then I wrote the theme song on my guitar. It's called The Headless Body. It's called The Headless Body. Yeah, the headless body in a topless bar. Okay. Now I know who I'm dealing with here. Call me one of the lucky few. I've always done what I wanted to do. And it started back in 1962 when I dropped the needle in the groove. Well, all of a sudden everything was clear. The far away seemed so near, and I could go anywhere that I could hear when I dropped the needle in the groove. I went to Bakersfield with the Buckaroos. I saw Memphis in blue suede shoes, Folsom Prison and Tulsa time. I went to Carolina in my mind. I could walk the streets of Baltimore or walk across Texas on a wooden floor. I was knocking on heaven's door when I dropped the needle in the groove. Well, I had no plan, I had no clue, and no idea what I was supposed to do. You see, Mama was the only girl I ever knew till I dropped the needle in the groove. But then I heard all them singers all around the world singing all them songs about all them girls, and all that mystery soon unfurled when I dropped the needle in the groove. I met Maggie May and Maybelline. Hello, Mary Lou, goodbye, Norma Jean. Lay down, Sally, good night, Irene. And who could forget Jolene, Jolene, Jolene. To all the girls I've loved before, Michelle and my Sherry Amore, I wish they all could be California. I dropped the needle in the groove. Yeah, they warp and scratch and they skip and crack, but I hang on to my favorite stack. I listen to them and it takes me back. You see, that's my life there on every track. Well, we've come a long ways from 78s and 45s and 8-track tapes and compact discs, and damn, don't you miss dropping that needle in the groove. Oh, but you can call me one of the lucky few. I've always done what I wanted to do, and it started back in 1962 when I dropped the needle in the groove. When I dropped the needle in the groove. Yeah, when I dropped the needle in the groove. 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 I dropped the needle in the. I dropped. Yeah, I dropped the needle in the groove. I don't know about y'all. Hey, I am thankful though that you realized what I was doing there at the end of the song. I was down there in St. Augustine I guess it was a year or so ago when I was doing this. I was down there and I did a little presentation to the high school music class, you know. And I thought, well, what do you sing for a bunch of high school music kids? I had no idea. And I thought, well, maybe they'd enjoy this, you know. Give them a little background into my story. And so I did my song, and I got to that end part, and the record started skipping. And they just sat there. I skipped for 15 minutes. Finally, the teacher come over and bumped me, and I got back into the groove, and I finished. But I lectured those kids after that. I said, listen, you kids, I said, y'all have no idea. Every song in the world is at your fingertips. All you got to do is push a button. You can not only listen to it, you can watch somebody doing it, several versions. I said, listen, you don't know what it means to earn your listening experience. I said, we used to have to get that old turntable cranked up, you know, and then we'd carefully get that big piece of vinyl out of that sleeve, and you had to carefully hold the edges. God forbid you put a fingerprint on that. In fact, a lot of us had a special wiping tool. We'd wipe it, big circle, blowing, wiping, all this. And then you set it on there very carefully, and then you take the cartridge and you gently put it into the groove, and of course the record goes. So you got to track down a nickel or something and tape it to the cartridge head to keep the damn needle in the groove. So 45 minutes later, you get to listen to your song. And you learned the warped version of it, and so we all walk around nowadays. All the people our age are walking our songs in a warped manner. But I said, that doesn't matter. What matters is we earned it, and that's why we love those songs, and that's why we still sing them today. So I probably won't be going back to the St. Augustine High School. I didn't get a big response from the kids. I can't settle on which pick I want to use tonight. I'm sorry. I probably ought to just throw half of them away. So, yeah, since we're talking about old songs, were we talking about old songs, or was that just me? Well, the way I see it, well, you just can't win it. Everybody's in it for their own gain. You can't please them all. There's always somebody calling you down, and I do my best, and I do good business. There's a lot of people asking for my time, trying to get ahead. They're trying to be a good friend of mine. I was a free man in Paris. I felt unfettered and alive. There was nobody calling me up for favors, nobody's future to decide. And I'd go back there tomorrow, but for the work I'm taking on, stoking the star maker machinery behind a popular song. Hang on, I got something going on with my guitar here. think that's what it is? I just put a new battery. That's what it sounds like, ain't it? Yeah, let me try that. Yeah, I love this song too much to play it like that. Okay.
Separate it from that.
Y'all hear that all right? That may be better anyway, huh? All right. Don't worry about this monitor. You can turn it down if you want to. I don't need it. Well, the way I see it, hell, you just can't win it. When everybody's in it for their own gain, you can't please them all. There's always somebody calling you down, and I do my best, and I do good business. There's a lot of people asking for my time, trying to get ahead. They're trying to be a good friend of mine. I was a free man in Paris. I felt unfettered and alive. There was nobody calling me up for favors, nobody's future to decide. And I'd go back there tomorrow, but for the work I've taken on, stoking the star maker machinery behind a popular song. Well, I deal in dreamers and telephone screamers. Lately I wonder what I'd do it for. If I had my way, I'd just walk through that door and wander down the Champs-Elysees, going cafe to cabaret, knowing how I'll find when I find that very good friend of mine. I was a free man in Paris. I felt unfettered and alive. There was nobody calling me up for favors, nobody's future to decide. And I'd go back there tomorrow, but for the work I've taken on, stoking the star maker machinery behind a popular song. Woo. I'm not used to having to stand in one spot here. Let me see if I can play it. I felt unfettered and alive. There was nobody calling me up for favors, nobody's future to decide. And I'd go back there tomorrow, but for the work I've taken on, stoking the star maker machinery behind a popular song. Playing from memory. I was a free man in Paris. I felt unfettered and alive. There was nobody calling me up for favors, nobody's future to decide. And I'd go back there tomorrow, but for the work I've taken on, stoking this star maker machinery behind a popular song. One more time. I lied. One more time. Oh, man. All right. Well, hey. What's that? Stop singing now, Verlon. Dylan. You're a liar. I don't believe you. Yeah, once upon a time you dressed so fine, threw the bums a dime in your prime, didn't you? Yeah, your friends all called, said you beware doll, you're bound to fall. You thought they were all just kidding you. See, y'all know the words. You used to laugh about everybody that was hanging out. Now you don't talk so loud. Now you don't feel so proud about having to be scrounging your next meal. Oh, how does it feel to be without a home, with no connection home, like a rolling stone? Never turned around to see the frown on the jugglers and the clowns that used to do their tricks for you. You never understood it ain't no good to let other people get your kicks for you. You said you never compromised with your mystery tramp until you realized he wasn't selling any alibis as you stared into the vacuum of his eyes and said, would you like to make a deal? Oh, how does it feel to be on your own with no connection home, like a rolling stone. The pretty people in the steeple, everybody's drinking and thinking they've got it made. Yeah, I'm exchanging precious gifts. If I was you, bitch, I'd take that diamond ring and I'd pawn it, babe. You used to something. It don't really matter what you say. It's the feel that I'm talking about here. Because next year I'm going electric. Hey, how does it feel to be on your own with no connection home, like a rolling stone? That's enough. Last time I was here, actually it was in this tent before I think it was before most of the big stuff was happening. They had a little thing here. Kathy Lee did a special event about giving, the importance of giving, and I think we raised some money and we gave it away. And so she asked me if I'd get up and do something, and I was thinking, well, what's a good giving song? And I thought, one of the best giving songs I know of, it's a song that was written by Richard Thompson. Richard Thompson wrote a song about a motorcycle, and he gave it to his girlfriend. Now that's giving. Don't you agree? So I got up and I sang that, and at the end of it, it came to me that Richard had not quite finished the whole story. So I took it on myself to try to finish the rest of the story. And I didn't get through it that night, but I've been working on it ever since. And now I have the finished story here for you. So this is about a 10-minute epic thing. So just sit back and relax and hang on. I hope you can hear this. Said Red Molly to James, that's a fine motorbike. She said a girl would feel lucky on any such like. Said James to Red Molly, my hat's off to you. He said it's a Vincent Black Lightning, it's a 1952. And I've seen you in the cafes and the corners, it seems. Red hair and black leather, my favorite color schemes. Then he pulled her on behind, and he gave her, he said, I'll give you my Vincent. No, shit. He pulled her on behind. This is important part. And down to Box Hill they did ride. Said James to Red Molly, here's a ring for your right hand. But I'll tell you in earnest, I'm a dangerous man. For I fought the law since I was 17. I robbed a many a man to get this Vincent machine. Now I'm 21 years, I might make 22, and I don't mind dying now, but for the love of you. And if fate should break my stride, he said, I'll give you my Vincent to ride. Come down, Red Molly, called Sergeant McCrae. He said they've taken young James in for armed robbery. Shotgun blast hit his chest, there ain't nothing left inside. Come down, Red Molly, to his dying bedside. When she got to the hospital, there wasn't much left. He was running out of road, he was running out of breath. But he smiled to see her cry. He said, I'm gonna give you my Vincent to ride. Said James, in my opinion, there ain't nothing in this world beats a Vincent Black Lightning and a red-headed girl. He said Nortons and Indians and Greaveses won't do. They just ain't got the soul of the Vincent 52. And he reached for her hand and he slipped her the keys. He said, I've got no further use for these. I see angels and Ariels in leather and chrome swooping down from heaven to carry me home. And then he gave her one last kiss and died. And he gave her his Vincent to ride. So that's the story of James and the Vincent Black Lightning. But I always wondered, whatever happened to Red Molly? 8 years ago, September, she was lying there dreaming when she heard the phone ringing. That time of the evening, it's never good news. And the voice she still remembers, it was Sergeant McCrae. He said, be on your way, Molly. Your true love is dying and you've no time to lose. So she ran a quick brush through her tangled red hair and grabbed the black leather jacket that he had bought her to wear. And she raced down the stairs and out into the night and saw the Vincent Black Lightning lying on its side in the rain. And for the first time it hit her, she had never considered life on this earth without James. Now when the morning broke, it found her reflected alone in the mirrors and the chrome and the shiny steel skin and bones of his Vincent machine. So she rode it to her garden, past the old flower bed. She hung the keys in the shed and just left it for dead with the rest of her dreams. For she could not imagine the road or the race, and not holding him tight, both arms round his waist. And she knew that the views from the pikes and the lanes they had traveled together would forever be never the same. She said, I gotta leave it at that. I can't keep looking back, 'cause now the world just seems flat without James. And then one morning early, the doorbell rang, and there stood a young man. He looked a lot like James. He said, I've noticed that beautiful beast in your garden. Forgive me, please. I do beg your pardon, but I just have to ask, why do you leave it that way? He said, I've plenty of tools and a fairly good touch, and if you will approve, it wouldn't take me much. I could blow out the choke and replace the dry seals and tighten the spokes in the wheels. You never know. You might wake up and feel like riding again one day. Last night she woke up and she raced down the stairs in that black leather jacket and that flaming red hair. And the Vincent, it was running 'cause it already knew that Molly was coming and where they were going to. And she felt not the cold, not even a chill, climbing zigzag road up the side of Box Hill. Faster and higher till they came to the top where the road had to end. But she didn't stop. She flew. Oh, she flew. Oh, she flew. Eight years ago, September, it was the first time it hit her. She had never considered how could she live her life without James. Oh, man. Thank you. It ain't no headless body, but I'm still working on it. It'll get there. Man, what a story, huh? I was about to give up on that Molly story. I was about halfway through it, and my little 20-something-year-old niece came to visit me, and she came down into my little writing spot downstairs, and she said, "Uncle V, play me something you're working on." I said, "All right." And I played her about most of this song, and when I looked up, I had my eyes closed. When I looked up, this 20-year-old girl that I seemed so far away, but when I opened my eyes, there were tears rolling down her cheeks. And that's when I knew I was on to something. If I can reach a little 20-year-old girl, I mean, man, oh man. Maybe time for, well, let me see here. Put that back there. Oh yeah, man. Sam Bush is coming. Is that tonight? Is that tomorrow night? Tomorrow night. Well, good. I'll give you a little sample of something that ain't nothing like Sam Bush. But it is, because I wrote this song with Sam Bush and Guy Clark. So there you go. One day my phone rang, and it was Guy Clark on the other end, and he said, "Verlon, get your ass over here. Sam Bush is over here, and we're going to write a song today." And I said, "Yes, sir, that sounds great." So I ran over there quick as I could get there, and old Sam was telling us a story of how he was cleaning out his father's desk after his father passed away. And in the back of the desk, he found the old front page of the Nashville newspaper from back in 1973, I think it was. And he wondered, why did my dad keep this all these years? And he said, well, he unfurled it and he looked at it, and what it was a picture of an auction taking place just north of Nashville out there in the country. It was the auction of String Bean's personal effects. Old String Bean that played the banjo in the Grand Ole Opry. Everybody loved him. String Bean was murdered by a couple of guys one night. They broke into his house because they had heard that String Bean didn't believe in banks. And so they thought, well, he must have a stash in his house. And they broke in while String Bean was on the Grand Ole Opry. And they couldn't find his stash, so they sat there and listened to String Bean on his own radio, knowing exactly when he'd finish at the Opry and come driving. He only lived about 10 miles from the Opry. And his wife, Estelle, would drive him to the Opry every Saturday night. And they knew this. So when String and Estelle come driving up the driveway, the old boys were waiting for them. She let String Bean out. He walked in. They immediately shot him right there in the doorway. Estelle heard it, jumped out of the car and started running down the driveway, and they shot her in the back as she was running away. Now, Guy Clark and I had always thought that would make for an incredible old-time murder kind of story, you know, but we thought we don't want to be respectful to String Bean's family. But that day when Sam Bush pulled out that front page photo of them auctioning off String Bean's overalls. They were holding up his... He used to wear overalls that they went all the way to his knees, like the waist was at his knees. The legs were about this long. So it made him look... That's why they called him String Bean. Chet Atkins gave him that name. And so they're holding up that old pair of String Bean's Opry overalls. And Sam's dad had held on to this picture all these years. And Guy and I looked at each other and went, it's time. It's time to write the story of String Bean. On Ridgetop, Tennessee, in 1973, the Brown boys killed String Bean and Estelle. And the reason for it all was in the bib of his overalls. At least that's what the Brown boys would tell. Yeah, the thieves lay in wait for hours, but things didn't go their way. It was just a simple plan to rob a banjo man, but he would not let go of his Opry pay. Now there must have been one hell of a struggle for the cash in his bib overalls. Yeah, the Brown boys said, don't give us no trouble, String. They said, we came for some, but now we want it all. Yeah, the thieves said, stand and deliver, but old String Bean would not tell. And later we would learn that was the point of no return. They shot him dead, and then they shot Estelle. Well, it just so happened that right across the driveway from String Bean, there lived another old Grand Ole Opry banjo picker. This could only happen in Nashville, but Grandpa Jones, another old Opry star, lived right across the road from String Bean, and every morning they used to walk out their front doors and meet in the middle and walk right down the road there, and they'd go fishing. They started out every morning together fishing. That's friendship. And when it didn't see no smoke from the chimney, Grandpa knew that something was not right. And now it's burned evermore in his memory, the picture of that dreadful, awful sight. And then 23 years later, they tore that old fireplace down, and there was $20,000 that the Brown boys never found. Yes, it seemed like easy money, but things didn't go their way. It was just a simple plan to rob a banjo man, but he would not let go of his opry pay. No, he would not let go of his opry pay. So I ask you, is anything sacred? I do believe now I have seen it all. I read it in this morning's paper, where they auctioned off old Strang's overalls. I gotta go, bye. No, I do. I took a lot of time with that 10-minute epic song and all that, so I'll do something real quick and easy to send y'all off with here. Well, I miss your greasy bacon. Man, I miss your scrambled eggs. Hey, I miss your greasy bacon. I sure miss your scrambled eggs. I miss your ripe tomatoes, and I miss your skinny chicken legs. Well, I miss your new potatoes. Man, I miss your butter beans. Your new potatoes, darling, I sure do miss your butter beans. And did I mention, darling, I love how you boil my turnip greens. Well, there ain't nothing in the oven, and the coolerator's dry. I'm starving for your loving, Lord. I miss you, pumpkin pie. I miss your jams and jellies. Man, I miss that sugar bowl. Yeah, I miss your jams and jellies. I sure do miss my favorite little sugar bowl. 'Cause there ain't nobody else can make my Tootsie Roll. Thank y'all. I appreciate it. Thanks for listening on my new songs. I appreciate that.